Hi guys, Blake and Levi here today with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on Upper Lake Taneycomo. It is Thursday the 18th of February and this is the one cast. So today we have boated up here. We're starting right below the tennis court. It's 32 degrees outside. Feels super warm compared to what we've had. They have slowed the water down below 1 unit. Roughly, it's at about 75% of 1 unit. So the water is a lot lower than it has been. And I'm going to start off with a 1/32 ounce jig. That is a sculpin, feathered sculpin head jig on 2-pound test. Levi is starting off with a, I don't know, what are you starting off with, Levi?
I got a white 1/32 ounce with a red collar.
White 1/32 ounce with a red collar.
It's online.
Alright. So there's a little bit of a wind blowing today here. But with the water moving this slow, we are fishing the north bank, which is the shallow side over here. These 1/32 jigs should be able to get down just fine. Oh, dang it, nothing officially on the first cast. I might have to raise that motor up. So, with the water dropping, be able to get in here and fish these finesse sized jigs. I'm hoping that the fish are a little more hungry than they were during that storm front. Kind of seemed like that storm front kind of turned them off a little bit. It's a nice sunny blue sky day today. And I usually do pretty good with the sculpin colors. Tri olives. Ooh, that looks like a nice fish. It is, it is. I need the net, please. Oh, he's still fighting. Oh, wow. Ow. Yeah. Sometimes you grab a hold of that jig and they do a real good twist. And it hurts a little bit. Come on, buddy. He's not happy with me. That is a real healthy rainbow. There we go. Ooh. Real healthy, probably 17 or so. Ooh. Alright, we've kind of drifted away from where I wanted to fish. But I suppose that with the water dropping like it has, some of the food sources have moved from their position on the bank where there's no more water, and fish should be out feeding on these shallow spots. The water clarity is super good, so if you're coming down to fish soon, or if you're fishing the tournament, I do suggest using 2-pound test. I think it's going to make a difference. I don't really have any fishing reports for today. This is kind of the first day we've had that was halfway, if you can call 32 degrees decent, halfway decent to fish. We've got some of our guys for the L. Frank tournament showing up today. I saw some of them. They just got here, got their boats in the water, and they're out pre-fishing this evening. Is that called pre-fishing if it's 2 days before the tournament?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a really pretty weekend. Oh, there's one right there, right at the boat. I kind of stopped to check to make sure my mic was still on, and he took a hold of it in the paws there. Oh, whoa. These fish definitely are getting plenty of oxygen. There's no doubt about that. There we go. And I haven't fished the last 2 days, but I know that prior to that, this all sculpin jig has been doing pretty well. I don't know if there's an increased amount of sculpin fish swimming around right now, or if it's just that time of the year. I do know that whenever the water's moving slower, though, the smaller, lighter presentations can sometimes produce more fish. This will be a time to throw those real finesse jigs, the Turner micro jig, the PJ's finesse jigs under an indicator on a spin cast rod or on a fly rod. I could also include mega worms. I know that there's times whenever the water's running that half unit and real slow that those mega worms do really good under an indicator. And I would say it's probably a fair bet that, oh, there's another one. Oh, right in the, that hit me right in the face. I would not bet against scuds either right now. I have noticed though that the scuds under an indicator have been producing a lot better than dragging the scuds on the bottom with a weight. Oh, there was another one. So if you are gonna get out here and fish some scuds, I'd probably, with the slower water, I'd go for those size 14s. Would be my first start, and then maybe a 16 even. And I'd be using maybe just like a #1 split shot. But I'd be willing to bet that they're chasing some scuds around right now. This is the first time they've, I guess they shut the water down pretty low last night, turned it up for just a little bit earlier today, and then it's been setting at this 1 unit or less for the rest of the day. Well, this is something I really enjoy doing whenever the water gets low enough. It's getting out here with this 1/32 ounce jig and 2-pound test and working these shallower areas. Oh! See, I saw him take the line and I thought maybe I was just seeing things. There he is. Came back for it. I'll tell you something else that works pretty good when the water's slow would be getting those trout beads, or like the miracle fly, the egg imitations, and drifting those. I've done fairly well on those miracle flies, kind of down below the trophy area. Oh, there was another one. Just drifting them. Not even really dragging them on the bottom, just kind of setting them about a foot above the bottom. It's amazing how much warmer 32 degrees is than 0. I think they're calling for the mid 40s this weekend.
46, I believe, for Saturday.
Mid 40s, good weather, no rain. Oh man, they are getting after that little sculpin jig today. It's like the 4th one I've missed. We're getting about down to that level where we could pull the boat up over there along this bank, get out and wade that shallow area again. I've been seeing a lot of trout milking, and the females dropping eggs when we pull them in the boats. There's another one. That one's got some real pretty colors. He's even got a little kype jaw there. Ooh. If you've never tried throwing a 1/32 ounce jig, the 1/32 ounce jigs that we have up in the shop, the Lilleys ones, truly weigh 1/32 of an ounce. And you get just a kind of a lightweight rod. It doesn't have to be an ultralight or anything, but just a lightweight rod. Get some 2-pound tests and you can successfully throw these. And when the conditions are right, they can produce a lot of fish. There's another one. They're getting smaller each time I catch them. Oh boy, that's a strong wind. If you're gonna drift this side like we're doing right now, we're kind of out in the middle of the narrows. But if you're gonna drift this, I suggest the flatter bottom boat and definitely raise your motor up out of the water as you go over it. Because if you don't, there's a good chance you're gonna drag. Ooh, okay, that time I didn't have a fish, I had the bottom. And I'd even go as far as raising my trolling motor up. We've got this one raised up out of the water right now. I'm gonna throw one cast over here. We're just right next to the high spot in the narrows. There's a big gravel bar or a shoal, whatever you want to call it, and the fish like to hang around the outside of it. All right, no luck over there. Going back to this side. One thing I will say about working a 1/32 ounce with 2-pound line is if there's a significant wind blowing, you're gonna still have quite the challenge feeling that jig in the water. So if you get too much of a wind, you're gonna have to bump it back up to that 16th ounce. I'm not sure how many boats we have in the tournament this weekend. I know it's not going to be quite the numbers we had last weekend, and I'm sure we've got some cancellations of people that can't make it because of the inclement weather that's happened. I think we'll go to the end of Eagle Island today. I really want to fish that flat over here on the south side against the island. I have to say, over the time I've been fishing here, it's probably one of my favorite spots. I'm turning the boat around, Levi. Oh yeah, camera's still going to be pointed the right direction. Very good. Okay. I think it's time to replace the line on this rod. When you fish your line long enough, eventually it gets a little twisted, and as it gets older it gains the memory in those twists, and then it just does not perform very well when you try to cast it. And that's something that's really important when you're working with finesse sized jigs. Levi's hooked up. Gonna need a net. Oh. There we go. That's a nice one.
That's on a white and olive.
That's on the white and olive jig, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I switched over.
There's something about that white color that just produces, for me at least, seems to produce some of the bigger fish. Still the 16th ounce or the 132nd?
We are on now. We are 332nd.
332nd, all right. Levi switched to the heavier jig there. I'm not sure. There's something looped around the inside of the net there. Somebody's fishing line. And with those heavier jigs, even in this slower flow, you can still take some of your slack out of the line and get them to fall a lot slower. You just work them a little bit different, and you still catch a lot of fish. You definitely don't have to switch to something as small as I'm using to come out here and catch the fish. And once you get into those spots that are, 8, 10, 12 foot deep, even with slow water, that 132nd ounce jig, you're gonna be working it really slow. So sometimes it's better to just bump up to that heavier size to get to the bottom a little faster.
Chasing it.
If you're ever fishing down the side of this island, down Eagle Island, don't be afraid to cast right against the gravel. You wouldn't think that there would be a fish that shallow, but they are. They're sitting right up there against that gravel, eating those scuds and sculpin fish that live over here. I've noticed a high population of sculpin fish that live on this flat right here.
Still not cold enough for the still cold enough for the olive tree.
Yeah, my eyelids are freezing up, but only like every 7 casts instead of every 30 seconds. There's some fish moving right here on this flat. That's the 3rd one I've seen rise. It is really shallow though. You really gotta work that jig to keep it out of the moss. The wind is kind of pushing us in towards that bank there. This is another fun spot when the water is this low. This flat is also an area where you'll see a lot of midging happening, and you can come up here and anchor your boat off right here on this flat, get out a crackleback or a soft hackle on your fly rod, and just let it swing across that shallow flat while they're midging. You can catch a lot of fish doing that. It's a lot of fun. You can even just pull your boat up here, park on the gravel, and walk the gravel bar, do the same thing. If I was going to be fishing my fly rod right now, I think that I would go from 5X tippet to 6X tippet. Because I think the water clarity is that good right now. Alright, a couple more casts and I'm done. Can we find a buzzer beater? Oh, there he was. I had to take her. So something Dwayne mentioned on a post from the Ozark Trout Runners page, his guide service Facebook page, was that with the air temperatures we've had, it should have dropped Table Rock's water temperatures cold enough to kill off some of the threadfin shad up on Table Rock, which is something they've seen in winters past whenever it gets cold enough. Now the last couple of winters I don't think it's gotten quite that cold enough, but this one certainly has. And when the water temperature reaches 41 or lower, those threadfin shad can't survive anymore and they'll die off. And if there's some near those generators, then they'll get pulled through the generators. And then we see what they call a shad kill here on the lake. And then the fish will be feeding heavily on anything that looks like a shad or anything that's white. And so we are anticipating that. Oh, there was a bite. The shad flies that Dwayne ties up in the shop work great dragging those across the bottom. They're midging like crazy. They're midging like crazy right there. 1/8 ounce white or any white jig, if they're running the water slow enough, you can downsize and go smaller. Any of the white jigs, shad imitation jerk baits. Oh man, I had like 3 bites and missed them all. I gotta get one more cast. When these fish are midging and you're casting into them with a jig, you can kind of just flutter that jig. You don't necessarily have to let it sink to the bottom. You can kind of flutter it, and sometimes you'll get them to oh, right there. I can't end on that. That just drives me crazy. You can kind of flutter it in front of their face when they're midging, and sometimes you get them to take it. Alright, I'm done. Well, we thank you guys for watching today. Like and share us on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll get out here and do it again tomorrow. Thanks, guys. There's a big fish right there holding on the bottom.